Session, May 2nd, 2024. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education and Public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. Ms. Allen, would you please call the roll?
Yes, I can. Mrs. Carrington?
Here.
Mr. Lumpkin?
Yes.
Mrs. Simmons?
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry?
Yes. Will we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Now we will have our mission statement read by Ryan Rose Mallory, a senior at the Ram Nation Virtual Academy.
The mission of Trotwood-Madison City School is to graduate all students prepared to excel in a global society with commitment to lifelong learning by guaranteeing a challenging curriculum facilitated by an innovative and dedicated staff, community participation, and state-of-art resources in a stimulating atmosphere.
Thank you, Ms. Ryan. Okay, item E is to adopt the agenda. I need a motion to adopt the agenda. Are there any changes?
I make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll second.
Are there any changes to the agenda?
No.
Okay. Ms. Allen, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Mrs. Carrington?
Yes.
Mrs. Simmons?
Yes.
Mr. Lumpkin?
Yes.
And Mrs. Cherry?
Yes. Agenda has been adopted. Okay, item 2A, presentations. We will have a presentation from the Ram Nation Virtual Academy.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Nelson Stone, and I am the principal of the Ram Nation Virtual Academy. This is my first year in place at the Ram Nation Virtual Academy. Previous 2 years have been at the high school, so it's very good to see this great mix of students here. I've got a lot of in-house students that are over here, seniors that are looking like they're getting ready to walk away from us here in a couple of days, and then I've got a lot of my younger students over here, with a senior included, who are all over here at Ram Nation doing their thing. Just wanted to very briefly kind of just talk about what we have at Ram Nation Virtual Academy, and just letting you know that this is a very unique school that we have here, where we have currently 95 students enrolled in the Virtual Academy. And of those 95 students that are enrolled in the Virtual Academy, there's only one student we have in there at this point in time who was placed at the Virtual Academy for an alternative placement. So we have 94 students who are there because this is the place that they have chosen to want to matriculate, and chosen where they want to forward their education. Now, one thing about that as we go through is to make sure we understand that the Virtual Academy doesn't mean that it's just going to be successful for a child. There's a lot of things that they have to do when they're over there. In some cases have to do even greater than what they have to do in the in-person setting. When you're at home, you got the creature comforts at home. That couch, that refrigerator, that TV, the music, be able to walk in and out of the house and all of those different things. So to sit in that classroom, to sit in that realm, and to log on to that computer and get this work done on a daily basis is a huge factor, because it's not easy for adults. And to do it as a child, and these kids are thriving in this situation. We have a number of kids who are doing extremely well in the virtual setting, and they're following all of those pieces. We have a lot of motivational pieces that we do. We have bi-weekly, and I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but we meet twice a week for our bi-weekly motivational things. We have motivational comments that go to kids. We talk to them about their mental health. We talk to them about some of the things that they may have going on, and then we also push our own agendas in there, aspiring to go higher and getting them to do the things necessary to be successful as we continue to move through the virtual program. This has been one of those things that has been a learning experience because some of the kids are coming to us with so many other little things that they have, and we're working through those and getting them to build their confidence in what they have. And so what that does is lead us to what the real reason that we're going to have this presentation for is today, is that we have what we call a leadership art group, the art leadership group. And together with that art leadership group, they got in touch with Mr. Bush here, who is a comic book artist who has a lot of work across the country. And they have developed a mural that represents not just the Ram Nation, but represents the mental state of all of our students across the district. That we have students who are here who may be carrying their own problems. It could be family, it could be food, it could be academics, it could be boyfriend, girlfriend, it could just be actual mental health as a biological state that they may have to deal with at this point in time. But what the students were able to discuss and come up with, and what I've seen, is that they have everything necessary to be successful within them if we give them the supports. And here at Trotwood-Madison City Schools, we're doing just that, providing those supports to help our students to become successful and become those global citizens that we all want them to become as we move forward. So I'm going to pass this over to Mr. Bush and the leadership group so that they can kind of discuss the mural at a better state than what I can. They've been into the discussion and developing everything. I've had the ability to sit where Miss Allen sits right there where we've been doing testing for the past few weeks and watch him do all this painting, and I'm just amazed because I'm still drawing stick people and he's up here changing things. You know, you go up here, it's been about 3 or 4 different things up there on the wall, and he just keeps changing, and every day it just looks better and better, and the kids are a part of this. And so I just want them to get the credit for what they've done and let them get the chance to express exactly what this means to them.
All the students, hello, my name is Aldris Bush. I'm the artist. These students here are amazing, every last one of them. The reason I got into this was because of them. The theme, of course, was mental awareness, and what do we do about mental awareness, and how we help the younger generation get through that. But what we've learned just by talking with these kids is they have it all inside of them already. All they need is the support, like Mr. Stone said. And I think we came up with the idea for the mural just by putting our heads together and being creative in class. And these students have learned a lot about art, and they've taught me a lot about, you know, their strength, you know. And all of them are talented. Even the ones who don't consider themselves artists, they were able to learn and develop certain skills that if they were able to hang in there and work at it constantly, that they would eventually be artists and good artists. So I'm proud of them. I'm amazed by them, and I'd just like to show you guys the art.
I want to go down there so you can see this. This work is really good.
Before we go into our next presentation, let's give the Ram Nation Virtual Academy another round of applause. Next, our presentation is from our Student Athletic Leadership Team. Amazing.
Good evening, President Cherry, members of the board, Superintendent Cosby, Treasurer Allen. My name is Jonas Smith. I am the Director of Athletics for the district. And this is our Student Athlete Leadership Team. We're missing two because they are participating in spring athletics. But the majority of them, once they get up here and introduce themselves, they are seniors. And so we're really excited about this group and what they've done the last few years of being part of SALT. This is a program that I started back in 1996 when I was AD for Jefferson Township Local Schools. Most school districts across the country have programs like this where you have your student athletes that are leaders in your school, and our main focus is giving back in the community. And so at this time, what I would like to do is for the students to come up, introduce themselves, and those that are seniors, please make sure you tell the board and superintendent treasurer where your next steps are.
Hello. My name is Jada Wyatt. I am the class valedictorian of 2024. I will be attending Butler University, majoring in sports media because I plan on becoming a sports agent when I grow older.
All right.
Hi, I'm Anaya Guerin. I am a Trotwood-Madison senior. Next year, I will be attending TSU, where I will be majoring in biology pre-med and a minor in education.
My name is Alexis Dixon. I'm a senior, and I'll be going to Wright State, where I'll be doing pre-medicine.
My name is Charlie Simmons. I am a senior. I will be attending Clark Atlanta University, majoring in business.
Hello, my name is Keenan Smith. I am a senior, and I will be attending Alabama A&M, majoring in sports management.
Hello, my name is Timothy Carpenter. I'm a senior at Trotwood-Madison High School. I'm committed to play football at the University of Tulsa and majoring in computer networking and cybersecurity.
My name is Marlon Howard Jr. I'm a senior, and I'll be attending Alabama A&M, and I'll be majoring in sports management.
Hi, my name is Maya Howard. I'm a sophomore at Trotwood-Madison High School.
Hi, I'm Norkita Howard. I am one of the SALT advisors.
So we were given the task to just come up and talk about some of the things that SALT has been doing over the last few years. And as some of you know, I've been a long-time OHSA board member and president of the OHSA Board Foundation. So this group has been able to attend the last 2 years the National Student Leadership Summit over in Indianapolis. Most of the time, each state is allowed to send 2 students, but we were able to take 10 the last 2 years. And in the first year that they attended, I told the superintendent when I came back, I was just amazed. And this senior group, it has a special place in my heart. I love all of our kids, but I haven't been close to a senior group like this since 2005. This is a really, really, truly a special group, but they really just shined over in Indianapolis, where the executive director of the NFHS said, we want them back the following year. And so we were able to go back this past summer, and of course they did their thing again. The executive director of the OHSA, Mr. Doug Ute, wanted them to come to the state office and to try and help come up with a solution. We have a lot of officials that have been getting assaulted, talked about, and sportsmanship is real big in the eyes of the OHSA. So he saw them in action over in Indianapolis and wanted them to come and help with students from Central Ohio, which they did last year as well. And they're going to talk about this. They volunteered at Girls on the Run for Mrs. Tracy Mallory at Welcome Stadium. It was a very, very hot day, but they stood out there and represented Trotwood well. Mr. Aaron Lumpkin, who is one of our board members, is also on the board of the House of Bread. This past fall, they volunteered feeding the homeless as well as passing out food to the food pantry, which is next door. They had an engagement activity at the middle school with our middle school students with Coach Jim Place, which they'll talk about. And then they had activities at the ELC, an egg hunt, Fields Day, Madison Park, they did a harvest festival, and Westbrook did a Fields Day. And then this past spring here, they ended the school year at National Trail with a kind of a local Southwest Student Leadership Conference that they will talk about. So we're going to have our valedictorian, Ms. Jada Wyatt, come up, and Mr. Timothy Carper, come up, sir. Ms. Anaya Jaren, come up, please. And they're going to talk about their experiences throughout their years with SALT.
Hello, everyone. As stated, we went on many events and did many community service activities in order to, how do I put this, connect more with our community. For the first one, the Girls on the Run, the first one I remember doing, it helped our team develop leadership skills and helped us learn to talk to people better, I will say, because when you're dealing with people who are tired and dehydrated and really want something to drink or not getting what they want, you have to learn manners and be patient with them because dehydration is a serious thing. And through that, we learned how to communicate with people better.
First off, I would just like to say it's been an honor to be in SALT since my sophomore year. Made a lot of memories, met some wonderful friends. And my favorite thing would probably be when we went up to the OSHA board in Columbus and got a chance to talk about sportsmanship and get an athlete's point of view. So I feel like, cause the guy that played sports his whole life and played sports in high school, it's taken very seriously. And I feel like referees are being put at a disadvantage because if they make one call, it can screw up the whole game, and they get treated based off how they call the game. So one thing, going up there and saying my peace of mind and what I feel like can help resolve the situation, it was really big for me.
Hi, I'm Anaya Jaren. Again, to back up what Tim said, one of my favorite events was the OSHA board meeting. Going to the board meeting and speaking about how I felt about the refs' abuse was a really big impact on my life because I really didn't know how serious it was and how bad they were treated. The main thing I spoke on was mental health. I took that as if the refs are being abused and we have a shortage on refs, it's because of how they are going through life mentally with the abuse. I went as far as physical abuse and mental because fans, parents, I don't really think they understand how serious and how bad it is mentally when you are downgrading a person doing their job, and they also are adults, so you have to take that into consideration. Adults don't want to be embarrassed while doing their job, so I just feel like that was a big key factor, mental health, because mental health is serious and it's not really spoken a lot on mental health. So I just feel like bringing up mental health was a big impact, and it could impact a lot of people on realizing that outside of someone's job, they're going through life situations. So yeah, thank you.
So the baby of the group has been with us since 8th grade and hanging with us and traveling to different places. And I don't think she's been in my office as much as she has this past semester. She's been in my office a lot. She knows that 9 of them are leaving us. And so she is very adamant about us getting those replaced with productive student athletes that are going to be positive role models in the school as well as in our community. So Ms. Maya Howard, will you come up, please? And Ms. Howard, if you pass out the document that Maya came up with that she wanted to share with the teachers at the high school. So Maya came up with this student inquiry about next steps. And there were certain students that were recommended for SALT for next school year. And Maya, would you come up? And talk to the board?
Okay. Like I said before, my name is Maya Howard. I'm a sophomore at the high school, and I am the youngest SALT member. Everyone else here is a senior, and they'll be graduating later this month. Meaning I'm the only current member that will be returning for the 24-25 school year. Since this is a program that we do enjoy, we want to continue we had to find new members to take the places of the ones that are leaving. So we looked at all the rosters of all the sports teams and found the ones that were succeeding in the classroom, but we had no way of knowing about their leadership skills and other attributes. In order to determine who would be a good fit for the team, we needed to ask those students' teachers. Their teachers are the ones that see them every day. They know their temperament, they know how they act, they know their strengths and weaknesses. So Mr. Smith and I came up with a new member inquiry form, which is what you have in front of you. We sent this form to the core subject teachers of the 15 students that were nominated to be potential additions to the team. The form allowed them to give information about the students' academic achievement, service, leadership, responsibility, collaboration, and character, which in turn helped us learn more about the students and find the ones that are fit to be a part of this team. Also, we encourage the teachers to suggest any other student athletes that we may have overlooked. Once we receive all the forms back, we will be able to use those and look over them to find and pick out the ones that we know will work for this team and continue to do the great things that we have been doing the past 2 years. Thank you.
And by the way, she came up with that form herself.
Wow.
That was my proud mom moment. As the advisor for the SALT group, it's been a pleasure working with these young people. With me being a senior mom as well, I've had most of the seniors since they were kindergarten, so I have this relationship with them, and they have really exceeded my expectations. They goof around sometimes when we're at school and everything, but they are always up to par when we go to these conferences, and they are on their best behavior. The last conference we went to was the Jostens Renaissance, and they gave me so much headache about going. There's like, Ms. Howard, would you have us going to, because I'm always trying to involve them in different leadership activities. So this last one that we went to was at National Trail. They was all skeptical about going, and we had some other members or other students within the district to go as well. Once we got there, it was just like a breath of fresh air. It's with the Jostens Renaissance. I had pamphlets at school for you guys just to look at, because I think this is something that we as a district should look into, but their focus was on their framework is for building culture where teachers love their job and students thrive in coming to school by using resources, community, and events that support schools as they work to strengthen teacher morale, academic achievement, and character development. So once we got there, it was like a pep rally. They had a big sign that said Trotwood-Madison. As we got off the bus, they cheered us on as we went through the school, and it was just a lot of excitement and high spirit. Once we got there, they were kind of skeptical, but then they had different activities where the students did team building. They had different games to where they, what was the game, Tim? They had like a head, shoulder, knee cup to where we had to, compete against other schools that were in the area. And they had a ball. They had music playing, and it was just something to show how you can boost the morale of students to enjoy coming to school, not only the students, but for the faculty as well. This last thing, I'm on their email list. So one of the emails that they had for the end of the year, which I shared with our senior advisor, Mr. Stone, is that where seniors can, with them graduating, they can go and give someone, a teacher, staff member, whatever, an honorary diploma to thank them for helping them through their years of service, their years of school. And I told Mr. Stone, I think that would be something because teachers don't get the credit while the kids are in school. It's like always afterwards. And so I just think that would be something that will be beneficial for our students to participate in by honoring those staff members in the school that have helped them along the way. Going there, it just showed how you can really make kids enjoy coming to school as well as faculty by doing different things. They had like a little breakfast on wheels for the teachers. It was just something that just boosts the morale. And I think us, as me being a staff member of the district, is also beneficial because I see sometimes the morale is not where it needs to be. We have, I'm over the senior parents. We don't have the participation with the kids that we need. And I just think that if we have more positive things going on that they can be recognized for, that it would just make everything better. But I'm going to be sad that these young ladies and gentlemen are leaving, but they're going to do great things and make us proud. And I have my baby that will be spearheading now the group, which will get her out of her shell as well. So that's all I have. Do you guys have any questions for any of the students or any comments?
I just had one question. For the students who were going to be selected, did you vary the grade levels or? I just don't want you to end up alone again. That's why.
Yes, we wanted to use the older kids more and let the younger kids get more accustomed to the school life. So the nominated students vary between 11th and 10th graders. So next year there'll be 12th and 11th graders.
Sounds good.
And did the current students get a chance to vote on those incoming students?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I was wondering if a student wanted to be part of the group, if they nominate themselves.
So I'm going to let Ms. Howard here answer that question because she spearheaded this. So what do you think? That's a great question, Ms. Howard.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, I just.
No, they could, yes. Yes, they could. They could. They would be considered.
Is there a specific breakdown of what sports, or is it how, I know it's all the sports, but like.
No, because most of our kids are multi-sport athletes, Mr. Lumpkin, so, everybody's here like 3-sport athletes, almost, yes, just about, except, Anaya's just a rah-rah girl, so, I'm just playing. And, Alexis plays basketball, and she's actually one of our, student ATs, student athletic trainers as well, so she works with, excuse me? Oh, you did play, I'm sorry, Lexi, my apologies, you did. All girls basketball players the last couple of years did play tennis as well, so Alexis did, play tennis, so my apologies.
I have a question.
Yes,
Did I
ma'am.
miss how often you guys meet?
So they would, President Cherry, they would like to meet every week if they could because Mr. Smith feeds them pretty well. No, I just, once a month. And they know that I owe them a dinner before they all graduate, and so I will be taking them out. But we meet once a month and go over things they might want to do out in the community.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask for them to volunteer if they're not gone by August 17th for the African American Wellness Walk?
They'll be there. If some of them don't have early, most of them. Well, we'll get some kids. Just remind me, please. At Island Park again, Ms. Simmons? We'll have our kids there. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
You just
Great
plugged the
job.
wellness wall?
Yes, I did.
That is terrible. Good job, guys. Ms. Howard, I'm gonna hire her as my head.
Okay, can we give this talk a round of applause, another round of applause? they will be friends for life.
I think I just found my new admin, Ms. Howard. Maya. Since you're hiring people for the wellness walk, I guess I'll hire some people too.
Interns. They're volunteers.
Okay, next, we'll have our treasurer's report.
Yes, so good evening, everyone.
evening.
In front of you, you have a black folder. So the black folder includes on the left-hand side is the PowerPoint that I will be going through this evening. On, I think, the right side, I included the 5-year forecast. I also included a document on how to read a 5-year forecast. And then number 4 was the notes that are also attached to board docs. This can be very informal as I go. If you have questions, just stop me. If I can't answer them, I will write them down and I will get back with you. So, according to ORC, or Ohio Revised Code, and the Ohio Administrative Code, every district in Ohio is obligated to file a 5-year forecast in November and then update it again in May. So the funds that are included in the 5-year forecast are generally the general fund, and you can have other funds included, but our 5-year forecast only includes our general fund, and that's 001. So the objectives of the 5-year forecast, and keep in mind, I'm going to say this probably 10 times throughout my presentation, is a forecast is just that, a forecast. I wish I had a crystal ball to know exactly what's going to happen tomorrow, 5 years from now, 2 years from now. I don't. The only thing that I can do is give you the best data that I have at the time. And so this document helps the Board of Education engage in some healthy dialogue, and also our community. Community members, please, if you have any questions, please reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to go over our 5-year forecast with you. Also, it serves as a document, it's called a 412 certificate, and it says that we can pay our bills, so to speak. And so anytime that I send the amended appropriations to the state auditor's office, I send a 412 certificate with that. And the third item is for the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce, DEW, and the Auditor of State. That helps them identify any school districts that are in potential financial problems. And so how they do that is the last 2 years of a forecast, if it has a negative cash balance, then they will require other things for you to do. Knock on wood, fortunately, we have never had to do that since I've been here since 2011. So before we get to the numbers, keep in mind again, this is just a painting. And it's just, behind all the numbers is a lot of data. You don't see that, but a lot of it behind that, those numbers, it paints a picture. We view this obviously as a key management tool in terms of us deciding on what curriculum we may have or other purchase services that we may want to purchase. And then again, the numbers only tell a small part of this particular story. And then again, it says the 5-year forecast encourages our district management teams to examine our projections and identify any challenges down the road. And also, it makes us become proactive, because if we see something down the road, we obviously have to be proactive and act before things can potentially go awry. So on a 5-year forecast, and I'm going over this because I know we have new board members, and this is the first time that you all are going through this, so I'll go slow. And like I said, if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to try to answer them. So the 5-year forecast has 2 main sections. One is revenue, and the other one is expenditures. And the revenue is made up of our local revenue and then our state revenue. So thanks to our taxpayers in Trotwood, that is part of the local revenue, and then of course the state revenue comes from the state of Ohio. The expenditures are divided into salary, wages, benefits, purchase services, supplies, and materials. And I did not put capital outlay up there, and also that includes capital outlay. So I wanted to identify some of the challenges to our operating revenue. And so every 2 years, a new biennium budget is passed. So now we're in the first year of this biennium budget, and it includes FY '24 and FY '25. Keep in mind, after FY '24 and '25 is finished, we don't know what's going to happen. There might be a new governor, and that governor may determine to do things differently. So right now, we're kind of operating in the dark, and that's why I said that this forecast is an estimate, is the best guess that we have at the time, and that's like today. The total revenue is estimated to grow 1.6% annually. However, over the next 5 years, our expenses are projected to grow 4.7% a year. If you subtract those two numbers, then our expenditures are exceeding our revenue about 3%. Our enrollment growth. Obviously, the more students we have, the more money we get. And so we're always focusing on that enrollment to make sure that our enrollment doesn't decrease, because once it decreases, our state funding will also decrease. And then House Bill 33, and that I think was back in 21 or 22, they started paying the cost for open enrollment, community schools and STEM schools and scholarships. They started to pay that cost, and it didn't run through our district any longer. Other sources of revenue is the Student Wellness and Success Fund. This year in FY '24, we received $666,000 in that fund. Those funds are being used primarily for our Samaritan Behavioral Health, for mental health therapy. And I'll talk about this in a minute when I talk about the amended appropriations, but we had to move the student wellness funds into the general fund, and we put that under a special cost center. And that whole fund is managed by Ms. Tracy Mallard, who's Director of Pupil Services. Also, our sources of revenue that are drying up, and we've talked about this, I think, for me, 4 years. Our ESSER monies, $24.6 million, have to be expended September 2024, which is just around the corner. And right now, we are really in a lot of meetings to talk about how we will manage our district, manage our staffing based on those reductions. So, expenditure forecasts, facts and assumptions. So, when we talk about the 5-year forecast, when we look at that, you can see that in FY '25, that cost will increase by at least $2.25 million, because we have made the decision to try to move some of the ESSER staff back into the general fund. Also, as a caveat to that obviously would put a significant strain on our general fund budget. So I want to make sure that is very clear. We also, for purchase services, we will be looking at another curriculum platform, and we are able to save $400,000 for the Ram Nation Virtual Academy. And then, just an FYI, when we look again, and we'll look at the 5-year forecast at the end, that line 6.01 begins deficit spending in FY '24. And deficit spending is that you are spending more than your revenue dictates. This slide indicates that in the forecast from FY '25 to FY '27, we have decided that we will not buy any more buses. ESSER has allowed us for the last, I think, 4 years to buy buses, and this year, next year through '27, we have decided not to buy any new buses, and beginning in FY '28, we will start again using general fund monies to purchase one bus in FY '28. The other under other objects, the ESC, Educational Service Center expenditures and the auditor fees are projected to increase by 2% each year, and then the property tax collection fees are projected to increase by 1%. Speaking about the property tax collection fees, anytime we are given money from our taxes, we have to pay property tax collection fees. So we have put in the forecast that they are going up 1% each year. So to get money, we have to spend money. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So I just wanted to reiterate the ESC expenditures. Those include services for autism, emotionally disabled, multiple disabilities, gifted, hearing, audiology, low vision, occupational therapy, physical therapy. We have a school psychologist assistant, speech therapy, interpreter service, and a virtual mentor. So those ESC expenditures include all of those that I mentioned. So this spreadsheet I developed, and I wanted to just compare what we had for November. That was in 2023 when I presented this similar forecast and versus our May forecast. And so the November forecast, you can see we had $7.6 million. Because we received or will receive more, we have estimated that we're going to receive $7.9 million or $8 million, and that's an increase of $274,000 and some change. Also, State Foundation, based on the money that we're getting, the variance is $348,000. Homestead and rollback, and I wanted to give you a definition of homestead and rollback. Homestead is a reduction for lower income senior citizens or who are qualified elderly and disabled. So you often hear our seniors saying, I don't have any kids in the district, so what are you going to do for me? So the state heard them, and they actually get a discount of 12.5%. Rollback is where the state gives, I'm sorry, not 12.5%, it's a percentage. The rollback is 12.5% of your local millage. And so the state does send that money back to us, and based on what we're seeing through actuals, we're going to have it's going to be less by about $51,000. Other revenue, and I want to clap for this because other revenue includes our tuition, facility rental, interest, Medicaid payments, reimbursements, and I just want to applaud our the $450,000 because a lot of that is our interest, and those are the things that we actually invest on, and those are our investments. So we invest with we try to diversify over several different entities. So we have Red Tree, we have Huntington Bank, we have Star Ohio. So we try to diversify those monies so they won't be sitting in one pot. So I'm very, very proud that interest, it looks like that. Now, tomorrow or the next time the federal feds meet, that interest rate might go down, and so we may not collect as much money. But I'm going to celebrate now. I did the same thing for expenditures, and you can see for November and May, I kept the estimate, and I'll say estimate, the same for salaries, retirement, and purchase services. Supplies and materials, we had to increase that because everything's going up. So when you go to the grocery store, I mean, I'm a single person, I go to the grocery store and my bill is horrendous. I can't even imagine a family of four. So that increases those supplies such as fuel. Our fuel and instructional and classroom supplies has increased. We did, as I stated before, decrease the capital outlay because we won't be buying any buses. This is one of my favorite graphs. I don't like what it looks like, but it looks like an alligator to me. The red line indicates your expenses, the blue line indicates the revenue, and it looks like an alligator's head to me. And we really don't want it looking like that, because then the green line then will go the opposite way, because then your ending cash balances are reduced. And so we have here, you can see here that our expenses are exceeding our revenues throughout the forecast period. The next slide is our ending cash balance. So we have a 60-day cash reserve policy in our district, and we passed that on April 21st, 2016. And so what that says is that our cash balance cannot go below 60 days of expenses. And so every month, Ms. Simmons, when we go over the financials, on that piece of paper, it shows you what our 60-day looks like. And of course, it's not 60 days, it's many more, it's months actually. And so we look at that and monitor that all the time, because that is a policy and we want to adhere to that. This next graph just indicates state foundation, and you can see that state foundation monies comprise of 71% of our revenue, which is a significant amount. The second part is thanks to our citizens again. Our real estate taxes is 19%. Let's see, 5% is other local, and other local includes like our tuition from other districts, our interest and rentals, and then public utility, personal utility property taxes is part of our taxes that we receive as well. So the takeaway from this graph is that the state of Ohio is a big player. So we have to keep our eyes on what's going on at the state, because they control the majority of our funding. I'm not sure if the audience can see this very well, but what this says is that there's two columns. One is the calculated state funding, and one is the state funding. And the calculated state funding says that we should get $26.1 million, and the state funding that we actually are receiving is $24.1. So there's $2 million difference in that. And so in the forecast, we have hopefully put in $400,000 from FY 26 to 28, hoping that we could make up that $2 million. So we're hoping that we can get that money. So I did the same thing on our expenditures. We have a graph for expenditures, and you can see that our expenses, of course, are wages, our people, our employees. Wages and benefits comprise 78% of our total expenses. And again, everything else, purchase services, materials, capital, and that other indicates the Medicaid reimbursement, interest, and rental. So anything other than the 5 categories. I'm almost done. So this graph shows just our wages, benefits, services, materials, and capital outlay. So I said I was going to use this pointer. So at this right here at the top, you can see the capital outlay is very, very small. Materials, purchase services, benefits, and wages, and you can see that from 21, which is actual, 22 and 23 are actual, and then our estimators from 24 through 28. And so basically the wording on this slide just said that we are still continually looking for academic initiatives to make our students college and career ready. And so you can see in FY25, the expenses are jumped because of the $2.25 million in the ESSER staff. So, in summary, and I've said this before, the state resources represent about 74% for our district, which means that's a significant area of risk to our revenue. We do anticipate a positive cash balance through June 2027. Future funding, as I stated before, we don't know what 26 through 28 will look like if the Fair School funding plan is not in place. Our new state budget, of course, is providing us new money. ESSER 2 and 3 obviously are going away, as I indicated, in September of 2024. And then we need to have our expenses match, if we can, our revenues long-term to avoid our deficit spending on 6.01, which you can see if you look at other forecasts, we are not an anomaly in terms of that. So, I'm opening up for questions, but before I do the questions, this question has come up to me many, many times, and I thought this would be a very good forum to answer one of the questions. So, one of the questions is, if I look at our May 21, 2020 5-year forecast on line 7.02, it indicated that we would have a cash balance of $786,342. And we projected that in FY24. So keep in mind it was FY20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. Why now is there a 23.8 million balance today? And as I indicated, things change drastically almost every day. And so 9 forecasts ago, which was 2020, 9 forecasts ago, it indicated in FY24 that we would have a lot less money than we have today. And so I just there's 6 reasons. We can probably go more, but just wanted to go over those quickly. COVID happened, 2020. We received ESSER money, $25.5 million in ESSER. So not a lot, but some of our expenses were transferred out of general fund to ESSER, therefore increasing our cash balance. Our student wellness and success money was infused into the general fund in 2020. We also now have the Fair School funding. It was approved in FY21, and I mentioned this before. Now that those payments are now out of our funding stream, the Fair School funding increased our revenues in 23. House Bill 33 increased our revenue in 24. And then our transfers that we had estimated normally at $750,000 came in below the estimates. And so those are just 6 reasons why, but it's very, very difficult even now to say what's going to happen in 28. I don't know what happened in tomorrow or 2 weeks from now. And so I would be in a different profession if I did. So without further ado, if there's any questions that I can answer, I am done talking.
How does I'm sorry, anybody want to go? How does the change in how Ohio schools report, how is that going to impact your forecasting going forward? Because before it was the Ohio State Board, now it's the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce Development. Do we know how do we have any idea how that's going to impact how you forecast?
Mr. Lumpkin, I cannot answer that. I have no idea how that will impact us. We just, like I said, every day is a changing day, and as soon as we find out any changes, then we can address that. Another thing I did not mention is, and I've never had to do this since 2011, is that if we found that there was something drastic or something really, really good that happened, I could go back and file another 5-year forecast. We can do it every month.
Yeah,
But
I guess
most time, we don't do that.
that was
Because
gonna
in
be
November.
my next question was gonna be like, how accurate, how close have our 5-year forecasts been? Because I know we can't predict what's gonna happen in the
Yes.
future.
So-
We don't have any way of being able to do that, but can we look at how we forecasted in the
Yes,
past?
and we do. So every month, we have a finance committee meeting. I attach the reports to you, and on one of the reports, it matches or compares the 5-year forecast to the actuals. And you can see that. We do a great job, almost 99% job on doing that. But like I said, I can't predict 4 and 5 years down the road, but I know what I'm dealing with, particularly like now in FY24. So those reports that I send to you guys, there is a report, and we can go over that at a retreat, that indicates how we're doing based on our estimate for FY24.
I know that we have talked a lot about the ESSER dollars. Have we started to research if there are any other grants out there that may offset us losing that money?
Okay, so, Mrs. Currington, when you talk about $25 million in monies, there's a lot of grants out there, but the grants are for particular initiatives.
Okay.
And normally, the initiatives might be $20,000. We got $20,000 for the gala, not the gala, the arts.
Okay.
So to recoup $25 million, there's no grants that would have to be $25 million. They would be, I'm saying, $50,000 and less.
Okay.
Yeah. So our grant coordinator, Jill Adams, and I have to give her kudos for that, she does an outstanding job. Anytime any of us see anything that comes across her desk, we all immediately send it to her, and she applies. We got a safety grant. We have another grant that bought us ovens, and we have the grant that I just talked about. So we jump on those grants, but $25 million is a very, very significant amount of money. And we'll probably never see that infusion of cash ever. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know where it came from. I mean, that's just my political thing. I probably shouldn't have said that. But that kind of money that we spent, the federal government, where did that come from?
I have
But
one more. I do
okay.
have one more question, Ms.
Sure.
Howard. So on the ESSER funds, there was an infusion of cash that wasn't forecasted. So what did we do to offset, or to, I guess a better word would be to save if we got that money that we weren't expecting? Because we should have been preparing for the forecast. So what do we do to replace that? So now, because now we're having conversations about staffing, and people are concerned about, we're getting concerns about staff and how we're
Right,
going to
exactly.
replace it. Since there was an infusion, was there anything put in place to save? I know we talked about the extra revenues from the investments that we make, but were there any other things that we did to prepare ourselves for when we weren't going to have this funding anymore?
So
Do you
I think
understand that question?
I do.
Okay.
So over the last 4 years, this conversation, probably at least monthly, we've talked about it. Because we knew the day was coming, September 2024, that we would need to address that. And so, as I said before, in our meetings that we've had, we have started to talk about, or have been talking about, how we will manage that loss of $25 million. And, you know, in terms of, we hired 42 people with the ESSER dollars. So we're and that's why the $2.25 million was put back in, because we are hoping that we can, and I guess I'm trying to choose my words very, very carefully. We're just hoping that we can do a great job on the staffing analysis that we've been talking about.
Any more questions?
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Allen.
you.
Thank you.
And I want to make a correction because I said next on the agenda was the treasurer's report, but actually it was the May 5-year forecast presentation, so now we'll have the treasurer's report.
Man, that's,
All right, I have several items, 4 items today for you. The first item is a then and now for juvenile courts. And again, to refresh your memories, what a then and now is that anything that we don't have a purchase order before we purchase something, if it's over $3,000, I have to bring it to the board before we can cut a check. And so if you look at this, it has an invoice date of August the 10th, 2023. We just received this invoice. So for $43.40 and also for $8,820 from Montgomery County Juvenile Court. So it appears to me that they're behind, at least 6 months, I don't know if August, whatever, August, September, October, November, December, January, more than 6 months behind. So I am asking for approval today on this so that, I can pay the bill.
I need a motion.
I motion.
I'll second.
Any questions?
No.
It's been moved. Ms. Allen, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Mr. Lumpkin?
Yes.
Mrs. Simmons?
Yes.
Mrs. Currington?
Yes.
And Mrs. Cherry?
Yes. Motion passes to approve the then and now for Montgomery County Juvenile Court.
Thank you. The next item is, the minutes, and this is just for information. We have minutes for April 4th, 2024 work session, and April 18th, 2024 regular meeting. Again, that is just for information, and it will be brought back at the business meeting for action. C is for, I'm asking for action on that. And in front of you, there should be a piece of paper that shows the changes to the appropriation like that. So I just like to do that because the only change from March 21st, 2024, it was 2 items. One is $508,055.24 for Fund 4, which is our construction account. And the second one is $13,785.07. What that first one is that when the auditors did our audit in FY '23, they noticed that I had tried to move monies from the construction account to general fund. He said I couldn't do that. I brought it to the board. I thought that anything I brought to the board, as long as you all approved, it would be fine. He said, no, Janice, you can't do that. But what you can do is you can move Fund 4 to Fund 2. And what Fund 2 is a bond retirement fund for our citizens of Trotwood, so we can reduce their total payment or principal by the $508,000. So I needed to bring that back to you all because I had to reappropriate Fund 4. And so that's why I'm bringing that appropriation to you today. So the total appropriation will now be $60,132,113.98. And so I'm asking for your approval for that this evening.
I need a motion.
I motion.
I second.
So we have in writing, before we vote on this, we have in writing for the from the treasurer that we can move it so we don't end up in the same situation again.
Yes, I have it from, not the from
From the state auditor.
From the auditor, okay.
Plattenberg. Yes, I do, absolutely.
All right, okay.
Carter.
Yes.
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 You seconded it, right? No, it was
They both
Wanda who
did.
seconded it. No, that's important.
Doesn't make a difference.
The record, yes, the record needs to show.
And the record doesn't reflect that. And the last is D that I've already gone over, is the information, and what I will do is bring the document back for business, for approval, and at the business meeting, the 5 year forecast. And that's all I have to say.
That was a lot, but thank you. Next up, we'll have the superintendent's report.
All right, I have about 5 things for you today. First is approval of donations for the middle school cheer program, and this is for information. We're asking that you approve a $1,000 donation for the middle school cheer program from VFW Ohio Charities Incorporated. Also, we have another approval, and that's middle school cheer. I would like to recommend that the Board of Education accept a $100 donation for the middle school cheer program from J.W. Devers and Son. Okay. And again, that's for information. And now we have Madison Park commission check in the amount of $35. The check reflects the commission for the Child Safe Kits for the 23-24 school year. The donations will be used for student and staff activities. We have another request that the Early Learning Center is asking. We received a check in the amount of $50 for reimbursement from Little Caesar Pizza Kit fundraiser for the driver. Got the delivery wrong. They're asking to approve that deposit into the principal's fund. Another from the Early Learning Center in the amount of $10.60 is a percentage earned from their box tops for education. She would also like to have that deposited into the principal's fund. Next, I'm asking for approval of Meta Solutions service agreement. The amount for that is $49,430. The head count that would go along with that is 2,441 41 kids. I apologize for that. And this is fiscal support for the state software redesign, or eFinance Plus. And that's the amount, head count is the number of students that we have.
So what was the amount?
The amount is $49,430. It's $20.25 per head count.
The amount is how much again?
49,000, and per kid is $20.25.
And what actually is it?
It's fiscal support for state software redesign, or an eFinance Plus, SIS support. Tracy, is this Miss Mallory? Is this one of the ones that you use? SIS. It's Power School, Progress Book, Grade Book, and Virtual Classroom.
Okay.
Those are names we understand.
Yeah, those are names I understand.
Those
Yes,
are names
I
we
understand
understand.
that. I
Okay,
understand
nope,
that.
I'm
Okay.
right there with you. I'm
Yes,
like,
okay,
okay, do
yes.
I understand those names?
Okay, break that
Right,
down.
okay, we had to break that down.
Yeah, break
Agreed.
that down.
Redesign is for the financial
Yes,
system.
yes, okay.
Personnel system.
Okay.
And the student information.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, and then Schedule 2 is also part of the agreement. It's IEP Anywhere Plus, final forms $2.03 per student with the same head count comes to $4,955.23. Okay. Then, again, that's for information today. Next, we'd like to approve school nursing services for non-public schools. And so this is what we do with Mother Bruner. And so the amount here, we have it. I do have the amount in here, so I just want to make sure. Let's see if I can read. So the scope of work, public health is agreeing to assign a nurse to the school for approximately 105 school days during the school year for 8 hours per day as determined by the parties, and provide this school nursing service for the 24-25 school year. The agreement will run from August 19th, 2024 through May 30th of 2025, and its agreement would be for $46,200 based upon a reimbursement of $55 per hour for the agreed upon work. Only thing that could make it be a little bit higher, which would be $67.50 per hour if they needed additional services beyond what's in the initial scope of work. Okay?
How will we know if they need additional services?
Oh, it's probably based on the number of students, so if they, yeah, what we're planning on is, one thing, but if we had more, and needed more hours or more help. Okay? And then finally, this one is for action, is approval of the personnel agenda. Okay?
You should move for that. Dion should move for that payment to
So on
Mother
our
Brown, since
personnel
she's a school
agenda,
choice person.
A1 is recommendation for approval of the following certified resignations for the 23-24 school year. Just giving you a minute to glance over that. A2 is a recommendation for the approval of the following adjusted certified resignation date. A3 is a recommendation for the approval of the following daily substitute teacher rate for the 2024-25 school year, effective July 1st of 2024. The current daily rate, as you can see, is one thing, and we're increasing that rate by $25 a day. A4 is a recommendation for the approval of the following certified summer staff for the 23-24 school year. Now we have the classified personnel agenda, Agenda B. B1 is recommendation for the approval of the following classified summer staff to be used on an as-needed basis for the 23-24 school year. That continues on into the next page. Summer staff to be used on an as-needed basis. Continues. B2 is a recommendation for the approval of the following classified athletic supplementals for the 23-24 school year. And then C1 is a recommendation for the approval of the following two-year administrative contracts for the 24-25 school year. And I would like this to be for action.
Just clarification, which ones did you say were up for contract?
C1.
C1.
C1, that's the last page, page 3.
Page 3?
I believe it's page 3, yeah, oh, page 4, I got more pages than I realized, page 5, the last page. I need a motion. I need a
Oh, you need,
motion.
she got it.
Well, I had a question.
Okay. I didn't hear your question, though. It's open session. What was the question?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second the motion.
We have to put the motion on the floor before we can.
Yeah, she didn't.
I had a question. A different one, different kind of question.
Different kind of question.
Yes. So I need approval.
You
Oh.
need any questions?
Any questions? I need approval of the personnel agenda. I need a motion, I mean.
I'll make the motion.
And I'll second the motion.
Are there any questions? No questions? Motion passes. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. Approval of the personnel agenda. Item 5, discussion and follow-up items and updates.
All right, I'm gonna start us off with the graduation update. We do have, some information for you. At this point, we have a total senior count of 218 students. And those on track are 178 seniors are on track for graduation by having totally, 40 of them have totally done everything. They could graduate today. We have seniors who only need 2 to 5 credits to graduate, and those are the classes they're currently in. They're 2/3 of the way complete, so they just have to finish out the year. They have met the competency requirements, and they have 2 diploma seals. That's 105. And then seniors needing credits included some credit recovery courses and diploma seals, but still have met the competency requirements in Algebra 1 and ELA 2 are 27. Seniors needing competency in Algebra 1 and ELA 2 or both credits, but have 2 diploma seals are 6. So those are the 178 that are on track. That's how that's made up. Seniors needing to earn more credits, including their credit recovery courses or competency or need diploma seals are 40. So they're still working on those things.
The paper, do we have the paper you're reading from?
I can get it to you.
Okay.
Yep. It also shares on here what we're doing to help those students stay on track. So I would email this to you.
Okay.
Okay?
So of those 40s, because grades have been out and the tests are back, where are we? Are we waiting for this last grade?
Yeah, the state tests haven't come back to like May 17th, I think,
Okay.
is when they'll come back. And then, you asked about, yes, those
Grades.
others had to get grades for the school year. You know, like I'm in English class.
Okay.
And so that's up at the top, that's the,
You did say 218 total, right?
218 total.
Okay.
178 on track.
Okay.
So that's 40 that's.
Yep.
Right, it's still, yeah.
So do we know what the county is versus what the state has? Or this is just our internal number?
I think it's our internal number that I got from the guidance department.
Because that's not what's gonna be counted against the scorecard, though. What's gonna be counted against the scorecard will be what the state rolls has.
As far as
You asked-
enrollment.
Yes, I know, you did ask me about that. And, I know that Emus was checking to see if that number did coincide with our number.
Do you know when we will get that information?
Yeah, I can ask her again, I believe she.
Like, that is like, that's a really important thing, because,
the
I mean,
state-
we could get all of our all 40 of the students, and it could be 218 or 218, but the state could have a
Says
roll
it's
that has
270.
300 or whatever. I mean, that's probably crazy, but,
Right.
you know, it could be way more, and that's gonna impact our number on the scorecard when it comes to graduation. Just so the community understands that, like, there's a state document that the state has that has the number of seniors that should be at Trotwood-Madison. Our internal people, we don't know what that number is unless we go and we check and see what that number is. So that's,
I know what the state number is.
Right, so that's how many students are actually enrolled.
Counted.
Those
Yeah.
students
Right,
could
well,
have transferred
no, I
to
mean, it
another
could-
school,
they-
Miss
they could've-
Mallory.
they could have
gone
transferred
somewhere
out,
else,
they could
but they're
be
still on
somewhere
our
else.
books.
and we would
We need
need
to
to
keep
find out where,
where they are.
if they
Right.
transferred, we would need to find out where they went so that we can
And,
report that to the
if we
state.
are aware that we have a student who's no longer in district, they do really try to find where they go. The dilemma is, as you guys can imagine, oftentimes parents don't leave a forwarding address. They're not gonna tell you if they put their kids somewhere. Districts are supposed to work together to, you know, you're really not supposed to take a student unless you get all that information and everything. And sometimes parents just keep them out and they're still on our roll, but not going to school.
But do we
So
have
that
any
happens,
idea,
too.
do we have any idea of the most common place where a student goes if they leave Trotwood? Do we have any data to say,
Oh.
all right,
Most of our kids, I think, go to Dayton Public, and most of Dayton's kids come to us, but you still gotta, like, have an address or where they go, you know, like, so we're in contact with Dayton Public. I mean, I don't think that is the issue. I think it's if they go out of state or something like that, that's a bigger issue.
So
I mean, you're not gonna be able to recover all of them, but if we had a process in place where we were,
And we do, that's
Yeah.
what I
That's
mean, we
what
have a
we have
process in place,
that if they
but
are
that
not
doesn't mean
here,
we're
that
gonna
we
get them.
withdraw them.
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
If they withdraw and go someplace and then they don't tell us, because we are not, well, technically, I say if they withdraw, we can't really take them off our roll until we know where they're going.
Oh,
And that's the dilemma.
okay,
Sometimes parents don't tell you and you can't find it.
okay.
Yeah,
They don't wanna be caught for truth.
right.
So once you contact us, say, will you share that number with us?
Yeah,
please?
I will, see
Thank
where
you.
we are. Okay, and now, our summer school preparation, we're gonna have Miss Rachel Murdoch do that. And I'm gonna go in a minute.
And this handout is just an outline of where our programs are and what programs we'll have this summer. So I try to arrange them by grade level. So for students in K-5, we will have a program at the ELC this year that will be Freedom Schools. I just gave some, some of the main points of Freedom Schools. One thing we are gonna do differently this year with Freedom Schools, though, is to offer academic intervention in both reading and math. They'll be doing a reading pullout based on individual reading needs in the morning, and then they'll have math support using Zern, which is a using Varsity Tutors. Zern's a different grade level. Using Varsity Tutors in the afternoon. Those are online tutors, but they are real-time corresponding with students on their math needs. And that is through a grant. You brought up grants earlier. That is through a grant that we had applied for earlier this year. There's also character building, enrichment, parent and family involvement. They have a parent event every week, and then field trips weekly. So that will be for our K-5 students. Then for 6-8, the focus will be on skill development and on social engagement. So their mornings will also be tailored to their math and reading instruction. They'll be using 2 online programs that will do some pre-testing to find out exactly where their skill deficits are and what skills they need for the next grade level. And then that's what their work will center on. for both math and reading. So the math program is Zern. That's a free program through the state of Ohio. And then we are going to use ExactPath. That's a program through Edmentum, who also owns Apex or provides Apex for us, that will do a very similar thing. And then in the afternoons, they will have daily enrichment activities. Okay? And some of those middle school students will come all day, and some will come half day, either just for the academics or just for the enrichment. That's really up to the student and the parent. And then high school, the focus is on track for graduation. So we will have credit recovery for those students who need to get back on track to graduate so they can make up any credit deficits they have. And we will also be offering industry credentials during that time. And that's so that for those students who didn't meet their competency through state test scores, they can get those 12 points of industry credentials taken care of during the summer program. So that will put them on the path to graduation so that that competency requirement is checked off. And then the final thing is not summer school, but it's a summer opportunity that we're offering for our second, third, and fourth graders, and that is for them to have tutoring by Sylvan Learning Centers. They will have to travel to Sylvan, but there will be no cost to the parent. And the parent we will cover the cost through our Title I funds. So the parents can schedule it according to their needs when they can get them there. We had a parent meeting at Westbrook last week, and 30 parents signed up. 27 of those parents have already taken their kids to Sylvan and had them assessed and scheduled them. And then we have a meeting at Madison Park next week so that their parents can do the same thing. And that will be for the full summer month. The goal will be for each of those students to get 50 hours of tutoring. That's the number of hours where we really see students moving up in their grade level achievement. So we think this will be really important for these students. We can't blame the pandemic forever, but these students were very emerging readers when the pandemic started. So we really hope this will give them the boost they need academically.
And what day will that meeting be?
The meeting at Madison Park is on May 7th.
Will that be during school hours or after school?
I believe it's 5 to 6:30, but I will check on that.
So I guess the summer program, what are the hours of the program? in
Oh,
each
yes,
building?
I should have put that on there.
Okay.
So the K-5 one is it's either 8:30 to 3:30 or 8 to 3. I'm sorry, I can get that detail to you.
Okay.
And the middle school is similar. I think elementary is 8 to 3 and middle school is 8:30 to 3:30.
Okay.
And then the high school is 8 to noon.
8 to 3.
Mhm.
My immediate thought about families traveling to Sylvan, that would be a barrier. But you're
Mhm.
saying parents are still interested.
They're still interested, and Sylvan's open until 7 in the evening, so their kids could do both. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
We actually did try to get Sylvan to come here, and it was working out, and then something happened, you know how it is, and it didn't work out.
Did you ever reach out to Ms. Gardner? She's still interested, Ms. Gardner?
I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know what, I think at the time something was going on.
Okay.
Okay, now we have our update on the 2-5 buildings. That's Mr. Howard. Lot of trees. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Cosby asked me to provide the board with an update on the transition of the 2-5 plan, actually the plan of the 2-5 and the transition. So a committee met Tuesday to discuss several different components of the transition. Mrs. Murdoch led that meeting for us. She put some really really good talking points together for discussion. The committee included representation from the district, building administration, teaching staff, and the transportation department. Agenda items that were discussed were student groupings for reassignments. How are the students going to be reassigned based on location being the number one focus. Development of common culture and norms for each building. How is the district going to ensure that each building has a common culture when we talk about PBIS, when we talk about social emotional learning, when we talk about a lot of the things that Mrs. Mallory and her team champions. We want to make sure that both buildings have a lot of the same common practices when it comes to identifying what their needs are. We also discussed equity of programming, i.e. STEM labs, having fifth grade band, choir, extracurricular activities, making sure that one building doesn't have something that both buildings should have. We talked about common student supports for each building. One point was, having grade level celebrations. When we talk about PBIS, guidance, staffing, administrative support, making sure that both buildings are equal in that light, but equitable at the same time. Making sure that they have what they need and everybody has the same thing, but if they need additional things, being able to identify those as well. And then we talked about staff supports, moving materials, curriculum items, timing for moving, packing, opening the buildings for summer prep for those teachers that are a part of the process, a part of the reconfiguration if they're getting moved, making sure the teachers have enough time to get their classroom set up, so on and so forth. So those were some general discussion points that we talked about. Had some really good discussion from 4 or 5 different areas. Transportation was there. Mrs. Stark's transportation supervisor was there, and she had some very relative points as well. One being school starting times, busing logistics, special needs routing. A lot of people don't understand that the routing process for a school district that's 30 miles, 30 square miles. A lot of people forget or don't know that Trotwood is 30 square miles. We think about Trotwood up here. And when I say up here, I mean Union, Main Street, neighborhoods. We got a whole bunch of land back here where we got kids that are literally 2 miles apart, and we go and we have to pick up one kid. We got to have that one kid at the same time at the building that we got to have a bus full of 60 kids. So making sure that, logistically we consider school time specifically. If we're going to change our route right now, what we do is we go across district. All of the second graders, all of the third graders, we pick them all up, and then we take them to Madison Park. All of the fourth and fifth graders, we pick them all up, and we take them to Westbrook. So now we're going to have to split that and just figure out logistically how that's going to work. And she's not here, and you guys will very rarely ever see her, but she's the master at that. I got a lot of confidence in the transportation department and Mrs. Stark specifically on figuring it out, because she figures out some things sometimes. I just walk up out of there and say, I don't know how this lady did this, but she makes it happen. But that's what she's here for. That's what she gets paid to do. Some additional topics that are still being discussed and being worked through, and there are several of them. But the goal is to really dig deep and target these other things, so we make sure that as we move through the summer, we're on point. Staffing, where people are going, district timelines for summer planning. Along with the move, we still have to make sure that the curriculum team pushes through the initiatives that they want to. Mrs. Mallory's department, the initiatives that they need to get through, and a lot of this stuff happens during the summer. So we want to make sure that we, simultaneously as we make this transition, we still are, handling those responsibilities. Student rosters, what kids are going where, building reorganization, what are the buildings going to look like, where the teachers going, channels of communication, making sure that the entire district is speaking the same language within regards to why the transition is happening and where the kids are going. Assignment of distribution of technology, make sure if we got a computer lab in one building, we got one at the other building. We got over 6,000 devices out here in this district. And my team is gonna really have to make sure that we secure all those devices. And then we make sure that we distribute them equally amongst the buildings. And then just additional moving details. What is the move gonna look like? And then some of the next steps are identifying and assigning tasks, most specifically, maybe that 1 through 8 that each department or building can focus on, and provide updates to the superintendent with regards to task progress. Start securing materials for movement of staff and developing plan for transition. We are trying to identify, some boxes and, things like that, just when we're ready to start pushing forward, that we're ready to support our staff, those that are moving. And then one thing that I talked to the superintendent about a little bit as well is securing quotes from moving companies to see if it will be more cost effective and time efficient to hire an outside company for this aspect of the move versus internal labor. One of the things that we do have to make sure that, my team specifically is, we spend the entire summer cleaning the building for the next year. So we're gonna be doing that with the move. So we just wanna make sure that if we can't do it effectively, then we find the right way to do it efficiently as well. So we're working on that. Those are some points that came up that Dr. Cosby kind of wanted me to share with the board.
Thank you.
All right.
Both of you did a great job.
And can I ask Ms. Murdoch, is there anything you want to add to that? 'Cause- okay. All right.
Question?
I do have a question. So well, you and Ms. Murdoch. So I know we have a little over 100 days before this transition is to take place. Do we feel confident that it can take place smoothly without any barriers or interruptions? Okay.
That was my question as well.
I think it's a great idea, and
I think it's a great idea. I just want to make sure that,
with the reassignment of students and staff and
A lot of the things that we're talking about are things that will take place anyway. As you know, students, we get some, we lose some, a lot of that happens. Teachers, on some level, pack up their things for the most part every year. Once they find out where they're gonna be, they'll know if they are moving. Really, it's like half of the teachers, and some of them will even stay potentially even in the building if they're in one of those other grades, if that's where we need them to be. I know that there are some concerns that I have talked with members about. So, for example, the cleaning and things like that. Some of those things can take place, if need be, over Christmas break, if like a floor doesn't get, the shine on it over these next few weeks over the summer. But none of those things equate to the impact that this move will have on our students.
So, I have a question.
Sure.
We saw a survey the last time we talked about this. Do we have updated survey results?
So, well, you can address it.
And I got one more question. The equity in the transportation and how Trotwood is split between what can be conceived of the haves and the have-nots. I'm assuming that we have people looking at making sure that Madison Park doesn't get loaded. Well, just making sure that it's an equitable solution across the district for kids, because we have kids that are in much different situations across Trotwood. So.
And we've discussed that, we've discussed that, and, logistically, we're gonna have to work some, I don't wanna say, magic, but, we're gonna do the best that we can to figure that out, to make sure that happens. And when I say that happens, that there is equitable distribution a variety of different, things, without, just saying this is what we're gonna do right now. It's still a work in progress.
So 100 days, I guess, for me, 100 days isn't a lot of time. So, I mean, still with the planning and the action, 100 days is a short amount of time.
112.
If we had a longer amount of time for the planning of this, do we think we would have a better outcome? If we could wait until next year?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking you and
Okay,
Mr.
well,
Howard.
and I'll give you my thought, and Mr. Howard can give you his. I'll give you an example. I have talked to many people about their concerns, particularly initially their concerns. So for example, EMIS has to make changes in the work that she does. She has to do it all the time, and right now she has work that she says will take her until August, but next year she's gonna have that same work that'll take her till August to do. And so there's no time for her to start, and then August is gonna come, and then, so that's getting kids in, and then in August, she's gonna be, starting the next process. And so now, it's just an ongoing thing. Anytime we get started is when we get started. So, quite frankly, I don't know about how, most people do things, but for example, like cleaning the floor. That floor is gonna be dirty again next summer. What's gonna be different?
But I think what we're talking about is, we're gonna reassign students,
Parents,
teachers, it's a whole new program. The second graders will be the least impacted because they're gonna be leaving their school anyway. But the other students in the building, this is gonna be a change for some of them, not all of them. And for some of the staff, and I guess you had to put together a strategic plan on how you're gonna do this, and if you're still planning, my question was just in 112 days, do we think we could roll it
So
out?
we don't even have the plan yet, right?
Right.
Where each staff is going, or do we have the plan? The
That's
plan is
gonna-
somewhere.
Yeah, by May 20th,
By May
staff is
20th.
supposed to, that week of May 20th.
The week of May.
Staff is supposed to know. And you gotta remember, every year, changes take
Sure,
place.
absolutely.
Changes take place. Actually, this type of change is somewhat a little bit easier. I mean, everybody sort of knows what their, licensure is, and so what the opportunities are. We're talking about two identical buildings, so it's nothing different. I mean, I think that, could we put it off? But I think that's what we would be doing, just putting off the opportunity for our students. We're gonna have to work hard. It's a task-oriented thing. I have faith in my team. I think Ms. Starks is probably gonna have,
Probably the most difficult.
yeah, but she says she is on it and she can do it, and I have no doubt that she will. I mean, because again, every year, students change. And Trotwood has done this type of thing in a short amount of time, several times, is my understanding. We've closed buildings, we've opened buildings, we've reconfigured the whole district in a whole lot more, more than what we're doing this time. I think my team.
It's a warranted,
believes that
it's a
we're gonna make it
warranted,
happen.
it's a warranted concern.
I
Right.
do.
Yeah, when you, especially when you look at the fact that we're, like what Dion just said, we're like still putting the plan
Plan
together
together.
to do it. Now, if you were telling me, all right, if this,
Have the
if this
plan.
document was.
This is going into action
This is
June
going into
1st.
action now, and we will be doing this, and maybe that's gonna come. We got another meeting this month. But I'm saying, I think that
Yeah.
it is a warranted response, because the document is saying that we don't have it set up yet.
And I
So
think,
the next time we meet, it'll be less than 100
right,
days.
and I think that was my concern, when I look at this document, and these are discussions that we're just now having, it just caused me to pause.
Right. So the topics still to work through,
Yeah.
staffing, timelines, summer programming,
Well,
student rosters. Those are communications, those are big items
But let me say this.
for 100 days.
But they are what they are. Every year, school ends at a certain time, and school is gonna open at a certain time. And we have to do this on some level every day. There's nothing new about staffing. We have our staffing meetings, people find out where they're going. If you have to, notify people that they're moving on, that happens. I can get you a more definitive dated timeline, but I think that
like we
your
had-
concerns.
We had to have that, right? Like,
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
if you'll remember, we started with a basic timeline, and now it's getting more definitive. These things that's opening and closing school.
so it's not an unrealistic expectation.
No.
That by the next meeting, we have
Right. I
all
can
of,
get
all
you,
of the
I
plan.
can make it look like you're wanting it to.
Ms.
look.
Murdoch,
No, it's not,
Yeah.
no, that's not what I'm saying. It's just that we're saying that the stuff hasn't, it's not, you know, it's
Oh,
the,
no,
it's the first time we've seen this
Ms. Murdoch,
document.
we have hit all of our marks so far, and we has very specific. I have communicated, not you guys, but I'm just saying, staff members, if it's something that, I use the analogy, and I'm going to use it here, and it may seem trite, but guys, it's true. HGTV, did I tell you guys that? Love It or List It, anybody ever watch that? I don't care what house that person finds when you're trying to get them to move, to list their home and move, no matter what that house looks like. It can have a swimming pool, it can be less money, it can be whatever. They're gonna love their house because nobody wants to pack up and move. It can happen, it will happen, it's going to happen, and I know my team and I can make that happen. And could we wait? Like I said, if you ask me the things that we're concerned about, because we've already talked about how to do the team building. And remember, Trotwood is 30 square miles, but a whole lot of people don't live on those miles. We live here together, we know each other. These teachers know each other. They work together. They haven't necessarily been together in a building, but this is what happens. If you change districts, if you change schools, you meet new people. And these people aren't totally new. They already meet with each other and know each other. Yes, could we put it off? Of course, we could put it off, but what is?
I don't think my suggestion was to put it off.
Will
I
it be
think-
better if we wait? Would it be better?
No, because the question is, who is the benefit for? If we
Absolutely.
pause, who is the benefit for? And remember, some things I've been saying, and you guys may not hear, but everybody else is, we're gonna put the needs of our kids before the feelings of adults. People are feeling some
agree.
kind of way, don't wanna move, I get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the needs of our kids right now,
So
The
we don't-
suggestion is not, I think that we all know that this is something that we have to do. But it's healthy to have a discussion.
I don't mind at all
yeah,
having the
Yeah,
discussion.
like, it's healthy to have a discussion on what kind of burden are we putting on our staff if we are, and if we're not, then okay. I mean, the reason why I raise concern is just because the steps weren't. And it's I look at, you have to
Right.
understand, we all look at it from our different
Right,
professional
right,
lenses.
right.
So I'm like, man, it's May 2nd, and we're talking about changing over the district.
Right.
And, that's just.
Yes.
But for educators, you never really know, your assignment until you get the assignment, And that's true for teachers. They could find out as late. My first teaching job, I knew nothing. My first teaching job, I got it the first day of school because nobody else had the certification. And I agreed to go back to college to get that certification.
But we're not gonna do that in this case, right? We have already looked at
yeah.
the teacher certifications and,
That's already done.
okay, that part we've done,
That's all, we
okay.
got licensure done, we got all of that done.
So my question is, how will this affect summer school, especially through the K through 5? And we're trying to make this move. What are the barriers, if you will, for the K through 5 summer school with this move?
So summer school won't impact it at all.
So I
Yeah, we'll
got-
wing the ELC off too, so we can still manage to, try to clean up the building, but we have a wing designated for where the kids will be, so.
Yeah, so when I said if we have to do something at Christmas break, it wasn't like a whole building or anything, it was the wing where we
Yeah, no,
were having,
that's
yeah.
amazing.
Okay. So I know we have a team that's gonna roll this out. Do we also have a team that's gonna monitor and evaluate the success of this move in place? Yeah. Okay, so along the, so I'm,
No, you're
no, I'm talking about like, once the program starts and the kids are moved after the first year, will you guys have a report of how successful? Mm-hmm, yes, yes. Yes. Right. And it would be good to see the transition. Okay.
So
Thank you,
said the
Mr.
week of the
Howard, thank
20th?
you, Ms. Murdock.
The week of
May
20th,
the
yeah.
week of May 20th is our goal for getting, staffing assignments out.
What is that checklist that you're using look like? I'm interested to know what it like.
I thought this was the
You
check.
know,
No,
when
no,
we were here-
you said you, I think you showed it to us, right?
Yeah,
In
we've
the
already,
presentation?
yeah,
Oh, okay,
we've
yes.
already shown it in the.
It was a
first
timeline.
presentation.
Do we
We
have
can
that?
share
Was
it
that
again.
in that?
We can reshare it, so it's no problem, yeah.
This year.
We can
I'd like to
reshare
see
it.
that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is the treasurer comments.
Yes, I just only have one comment this evening. I had the opportunity to get on a Zoom call on Thursday, April 25th with the Ram Nation Virtual Academy. Paula Lathan served as a virtual mentor and the host for the special guest. His name was Jesse J.T. Jazz Thompson, and he was phenomenal. The kids, there had to be at least 15 kids online, and he basically gave some helpful hints on navigating life. And I just really enjoyed it. It was very, very good. And they had passed out this brochure, and I just got on there for like 30 minutes, I think it was 30 minutes, and listened for a while. Just want to let everybody know that. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Allen. Superintendent comments?
I will, follow up on that because I got on it too. And that's a new, single that he has out. He's a jazz musician and he was really good. And the students were very impressive with the questions that they asked of him. What was your most embarrassing moment? And the way he explained to them, you know, how he handled it and everything. I think they did get some great life lessons from that. I would also like to, reiterate the congratulations for Ram Nation Virtual Academy. Glad you're still here, Mr. Stone, to hear it. That project came out beautiful. I do know that the kids learned a lot because I talked to them as they were up here and working on it, and also with Mr. Bush, who did a great job, not just doing that, but also involving the students. So that was really cool. Also, Mr. Smith and that SALT team. What I really liked about that, I liked the whole presentation, but the young lady who talked about going up to OSHAA, she was advocating and probably didn't even realizing it, and sounded like she did a really good job advocating for, you know, the support of mental health of adults. And so I was very proud of that, and all of them did a great job. So, those were the things I wanted to bring up. I did, as you guys know, had the opportunity to do the keynote at a dinner. Never done anything like that before with so many people there. It went well. After the computer decided to show my notes and I had to take it down, which meant I had to do it without my notes. But nobody could tell, I don't think. That's the nice thing, they don't know. Otherwise, it was a great conference. A lot of learning took place there. And that's it, because I know you guys tend to have really good stuff to say. So I'm going to stop.
Thank you. So,
Oh, that was OASB, the Ohio Association of Black School Educators. And I did make a connection with Ohio Wesleyan University, and we are exchanging emails. They really want to get some of our students involved in their school and offer them money to attend. So they were really excited. It was just a chance meeting. Yeah, so.
Thank you for sharing. And now we're at number 8, which is board comments. Mrs. Currington.
I am very proud of Trotwood. I'm very proud of the faculty and staff, the work that you do. I know sometimes we ask questions and it's kind of like, why are they asking that? And it's just for reassurance and also for clarification for me. So thank you, Ms. Murdoch, Mr. Howard, for not taking that personal. I also would just like to say, last night I got to attend the National Honor Society induction ceremony at the high school. We have some of the best and brightest students in the Miami Valley, and bar none, they can compete with anybody. As you just saw the SALT team talk about their accolades, I am so proud of our students. Also, I would like to thank Ms. Latham for her narration of the art piece back there. She was really detailed in telling us the backstory behind the artwork, and I cannot wait to see the documentary. So, Mr. Stone, can you make sure I get to see that? Just the excitement of them rolling that out. I'm excited about the sneaker ball for the middle school, so I hope it's still on, because I will be there tomorrow night in my sneakers. It's still on?
Next Tuesday.
No, it's tomorrow. The sneaker ball is for the middle school is tomorrow, Friday. Mhm. Huh? No, I'm not talking about the art. I'm talking about the sneaker ball. Oh, he didn't know about that.
Oh, I did. 'Cause
And so I
I
also
was
would
tasked
just-
with purchasing shoes.
And I would like to thank you all that come every meeting we have to sit here and listen to this painstaking board. So thank you all for coming out. What else did I have? I'm gonna wrap that. That's all. Yeah, that's all. Cause I do want to say congratulations to Jada White, our valedictorian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And thank Miss Mallory, and I'm talking about Rayanne Rose Mallory, for reading the mission statement.
Mr. Aaron Lumpkin.
I think it's always good when you can see the wide range of talents in the students that we have here. And for me, it's especially important for people to see just how gifted and talented our athletes are outside of the playing field or the court that they're on. I've had some opportunities to work with the SALT athletes on several different occasions. We've watched them grow up in our community. We watched them, that group of kids, when the tornado hit, spent almost 2 days with me helping clean debris. So, you know, when you talk about love for Trotwood and love for the community, the young men and women that we saw today are the brightest spots of our community. They're the biggest compliment to what all of the staff does. And then when you take a look at this mural, it's an emotional thing for me because Broadway Cafe is a place that I used to go as a kid. We used to escape there and go there and eat lunch there, and it's been a part of a Trotwood staple, and to see it explained like it was tonight is just very special. And so I want to thank, you know, the artists that helped the students create that picture, and I'm looking forward to seeing the one that's going up at the middle school. And we ask a lot of questions, and sometimes, you know, that can be tough when people are questioning the work that you do every day. But I want you guys to understand that it is our responsibility to do exactly what Dr. Cosby said, and that's put our students first. So that's where I'll stop.
I just wanted to ask you one question, if it's okay.
That's fine.
You said Broadway Cafe was someplace you used to escape to. Did you mean skip?
Mm-hmm.
Like
I,
skip school?
I mean, I think I'm
asking.
safe. I think I'm safe enough now because my dad passed away in 2005 to be able to admit that yes, Dr. Cosby, I did
You
spend some
skipped a little
time
bit sometimes.
skipping there. But
Okay,
you
I'm
have to remember
just
in the
being
time
clear.
when the time that I went there, we were actually allowed to leave campus for
Oh.
lunch. That's how special we were.
Right.
We were
Well, you
very
were close
responsible.
to it as well.
Yes.
Well, thank you for that honest answer.
Right.
Yes.
We cleaned that up.
Yeah.
All right, Ms. Simmons.
I think a couple weeks ago, we, some of us attended the Franklin B. Walter Scholarship Awardee, and I would like to acknowledge Mr. Stone, and then, he was the Teacher of the Year, and Chloe McCarty, she received $1,000 scholarship from that group. So that was awesome. I think Chloe is attending Wright State. She was a student on signing day, and I remember her. Signing day, I attended that last Friday. Over 40 plus of our seniors are going to over 22 colleges throughout the country. Several of our students are going to the armed forces, and that was an honor to be at last Friday. I would like to also acknowledge our very own Aaron Lumpkin on his award with the United Way Volunteer of the Year. Good job, Aaron. And I would also like to acknowledge all of our principals at each building. I think yesterday was Principal Week, so let's give them a thank you, virtual thank you. Send them an email for all the work that they do, and sometimes they don't feel appreciated, so let's show them that we appreciate them. The Virtual Academy, great job, presentation. The mural is just awesome. I'm speechless. SALT team, phenomenal. Some of them are just my favorite students, so great job, Mr. Smith, leading that group of students, and we have a lot of students here that are doing great things, and I'll end with that.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Simmons. Well, going last, everyone has already basically said everything, but I did attend the signing day for our students, and I know our students look forward to that, and that was a well-oiled machine. Their parents were excited, and some of the board members, well, Mr. Lumpkin and myself, and well, Ms. Dion her son was involved in it, so, but she was still there, but I thought that it was very nice, and I just want to give a shout out to those who put it together. It was very nice. Also, the National Honor Society yesterday as well, and once again, like the board has already said, we have some amazing students doing some amazing things. The SALT team, I mean, I was just at awe with their accomplishments and their participation in the community. I was unaware that our students were actually so heavily involved, and I like the way they conducted themselves here, so I know they did an excellent job representing Trotwood at each event. We've already talked about the mural, and that is fabulous, and I'm like Mr. Stone here, I still drawing sticks myself, so I think that's a wonderful job. I'm just proud of our students, I'm proud of the graduates, I'm proud of the students that are putting in the hard work to take themselves to the next level. I also wanted to just piggyback really quick on summer school. I wanted to just let the parents know that we do have programs and tutoring and things like that that's in place, and parents, it's up to you to get your students here. The board can only say so much, the teachers can only do so much. At the end of the day, though, we need the parents' involvement as well, because it's a community effort. So I would like for the parents, I would like to know, Ms. Murdoch, how many attends the next meeting at, is it Madison Park? Madison Park? Yes, yes. So that they can't come back and say that there is nothing or we're not doing anything. Yes, sir. Oh, cool. K through 8 will have transportation to summer school. That is phenomenal. Yes. And how will we be able to communicate that to, will it be on Parent Square or?
that's kudos for us.
Yes. And that's all that I have.
You know, I just want to point out that was, when you said you didn't have much to say, and then you put on that performance, we're proud of you.
I got one little question
I'll see
about,
you here in a minute, Erin.
if Ms. Murdoch and Mr. Howard, maybe one of you can answer. How do we reach the parents or grandparents that may not be tech savvy and don't know how to operate Parent Square? How will we reach those people to let them know about all these amazing things that's happening this summer? Okay. I just like it that every time I have a question, you make sure you answer it thoroughly. Thank you.
I've taught her well.
Thank you, Ms. Murdoch.
All right.
You don't.
Now, we need a motion to go into executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual per BOE Policy 0166 and ORC 121.22. G1, action may be taken.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved that we will move in executive session. Ms. Allen, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Mrs. Simmons?
Yes.
Mr. Kirk? Mrs. Curry?
He's not here, but Ms. Currington is.
Mr. Lumpkin?
Yes.
Yes. We will move into executive session at 7:41.